Welcome everybody to another installment of Show to V with Mike G, the show of life, the show of apples today, the show of PR. Now I'm going to be honest, PR is a necessary evil for many organizations, but it's nice to meet someone behind the PR that is very level-headed and very down-to-earth and a really genuine, nice person. The concept of a power couple, too, is an interesting one. I think of Mike and Jessica Sanders, who I've both had on the show here, and then I think of our interview today with Wes and Mary Mickel, and I think about the things that combined they are able to do together, whereas they may not be able to do it alone. Mary's been through some things, Wes has been through some things, and it's going to be really great to share this with you, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with Wes and Mary.
There's not a lot of trees here in Texas.
Yeah, there's not, right?
There's not. I mean, there might be.
Kerrville, is that
a little south of Kerrville, Medina.
Medina, okay.
The apple capital of Texas.
The apple capital.
Of 2 acres, maybe.
Is that it? You got everybody.
It's a little more than that. But...
Yeah. Is everybody vying for that same crop every year? Is it harder to get?
No.
No one even cares? Or
I mean, cider producers, if you're going to get into buying apples, you're basically taking on a whole nother business, and it's extremely cost intensive.
Is it?
So really, there's no competition whatsoever to buy those apples.
So then that begs the question, why in the hell would you make a cider?
Yeah.
Why would Argus make a cider? Even though no matter how delicious it is, why would that be where you would start?
I guess we really got into it because those apples down in Medina, upon trying them for the first time, they were something special by themselves.
Really?
You talk to people. Well, I talk to people all the time about apples being in Texas. It's always the exact same response. Like, oh God, we had no idea that they grow apples in Texas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they do. They grow a lot of stuff here.
Fantastic.
Some wheat, even, I hear. Some rye too.
Yeah.
In certain spots, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean,
so what was it? It was something special. Did you taste the apple? What came first, the cider or the apple, the chicken or the egg? I mean,
it was really the apple, because before Mary and I moved down here, I was in contact with Baxter Adams, who owned one of the orchards in Medina. And it was the dialogue that I started with him that really kind of started snowballing this, hey, what about cider?
Right.
Could we do this? I mean, we're starting to see a little bit of how the market was changing.
Yeah.
Cider, it didn't seem like a fad.
Was it
7 years ago?
Was it spawned by the non-gluten kind of movement, or the
no?
Because it's an interesting intersection, right? Because people are like, well, I'm not drinking beer now.
Yeah.
So cider becomes a really good option.
It's the happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Happy coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't give it.
I think after working in restaurants, it's like, I don't care if you have a gluten allergy.
Right. You're not gonna die. You're sensitive, but it's only because you're just sensitive. It's not you're sensitive to wheat. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that if I ever get Bill Norris in here, I just want to give him 10 minutes to talk about people with gluten allergies.
Rants.
Yeah, I think it's terrible.
Have a special section.
Yeah.
Rant section.
But so when did this kind of mold, this idea to make cider? When did Argus become an idea concept that you were starting to build?
I'd say probably 2005.
2005. Oh, that's quite a while ago. So you're almost looking 10 years in the past.
Well, it was always just a thought.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this would be cool to do this.
Right.
When Mary and I were living out in Napa.
You're living in Napa?
Yeah, one
Man,
point.
we got to go there because that's really you're the fanciest people in this house right now.
Yes, fancy pants, and I'm wearing them.
Living in a shoebox.
Doesn't matter. You living in Soho, it doesn't matter if you got 100 square feet, right?
Yeah. And I think both of us we always thought, well, actually, we always bullshit, like, oh, we're going to have a family winery someday. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
I was like, well, actually, we could. It's not going to be like one of these, Silverado Trail properties, but
Right.
we could do
California
this.
estates.
Anyway, but the cider, I just always enjoyed cider. That was actually
Right.
one of the first things I ever had to drink was cider.
It's easy. It's comfortable. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing. It's really simple.
And then upon having really good cider,
Yeah. What was that? Where do you think you had kind of an elevated experience with cider?
I remember the first time I had a French cider. It was just one of the Etude Duponts, and it was the first time I had one that was dry. It had bubbles like champagne.
Oh, wow.
And I was thinking to myself, wow, these apples can be made just like grapes.
Is it the same Dupont that makes the Calvados? Which
yes.
would make sense,
Yes,
right?
it
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
It is.
great. Yeah, wonderful
producer.
Calvados too. But that was a point where it's like, man, I'm kind of inspired to make this something bigger.
And it was crazy because no one in the States was even touching this.
Right,
Like, all
right.
these different styles, like anything Asturian, not even produced
Yeah.
in the States. Everyone was doing this one style.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was sweet. Not
Right.
everything, but for the
But
most
mostly,
part.
I mean, that's the American palate. You talk about the cocktail movement, why it fucking went into the gutter is because everything becomes so saccharine.
Right.
And that's what the resurgence has been, and probably the popularity of cider, craft cocktails, is people dialed it back. Like, dry is not necessarily a bad thing, Is it hard? So was it hard getting a license? Because I went through this. So from concept of doing the cider to actually having a facility, what was that like for you?
Oh God, our first facility, it was up in Leander.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a 900 square foot barn.
Yeah.
Only 600 square feet were actually under a roof.
Oh man.
And I'm pretty sure it used to be an old grow house.
No,
Because
it was.
it was
Was it?
House, yeah.
it was crazy because you walk in these shitty doors that don't even close,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're in this white room
It's pristine.
that's just completely insulated, like tons of
So that no one can shoot heat rays at it to know what the hell you're doing in there.
and all these electrical wires hanging from the top.
Really?
for all
the heat lamps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, this is going to hold temperature pretty nicely. So all right.
At least like when it needs to be warm, it'll be warm. Yeah.
So yeah.
Was that a good period? I always look back fondly on when we were roughing it, right? Like we were in the smaller facility, which we're still in, but just for people think we're in a bigger facility, but we're not.
Honestly, we're still roughing it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you gotta. Was it a fun time to share that
yeah.
It was
together?
definitely a fun time.
We had a
'cause
blast.
Yeah.
It was basically me or myself and Jules.
Mm-hmm.
Jules joined me on the second press we ever did.
Yeah.
He's still with us now. But we were working at Whole Foods together, and
In Austin, or
in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the job that I was doing while we were starting this company.
Right.
And we would literally just get off work, get a bunch of beer, go out there and press apples. It was fantastic.
Pressing apples.
Shoot guns.
Shoot guns.
Well, it is Leander. When in Leander.
Yeah. In retrospect, maybe my business would have been a little more successful if I would have taken it more seriously. But
Bullets are expensive, man.
yeah. Yeah.
They really are. That price fluctuates insanely. Well, so let's go back then, because this is what one may consider a power couple, and you guys can scoff at me and all that bullshit, and that's fine, right? But you have a powerful PR force in the marriage. You have a powerful pressing, gun shooting, apple making force, right? So take me back to, were you both from Arkansas? You grew
Yes.
up in Arkansas?
Yes.
Or is this a high school sweetheart thing?
No.
No,
No.
dating was horrible in high. No, I'm kidding.
No, we didn't meet until college.
Oh, really?
We both went to the University of Arkansas.
Was it the same program you guys were in? Was it
No, we met at a bar.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A cider? No, I'm kidding.
No. The bar was called Grubs.
Oh.
Yes.
They have mozzarella sticks. I hope they did.
Man. Absolutely.
I bet you could guess the entire menu.
Well,
everything's covered in buffalo
we don't have
sauce.
that much time.
Yeah.
But so what kind of, paint that picture for me. How did you guys meet? Were you both just hanging out at the bar, enjoying jalapeno poppers as you do?
It was actually my first time in a bar.
Really?
Ever. I was 19.
19?
No, I was 18.
You were 18.
I was 18.
No kidding.
And my older cousin is his classmate, and they graduated high school from each other.
Oh, cool. So they were friends?
Yes, so they were friends, and my cousin Eric was in town moving me out of my freshman dorm the next day.
Right.
And he said, I have to take you to this bar.
Is it?
I used a fake ID.
Oh, very good.
And then that night...
The statute of limitations has passed, by the way. So
yes.
You can just... any illegal behavior in the past is really not a problem.
And then, that night I met Wes.
No kidding. What was that like? Was he drunk on power yet?
No, Wes is not so graceful when it comes to the art of the ladies.
No.
No.
A brewer not being good at women?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
Having to talk to people in general.
I spilled a drink on his lap.
Yeah, what was the drink?
Gin and tonic.
Oh,
Gin and
very well. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And so that's a good conversation starter, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we stayed up all night. Didn't even do anything dirty, and just talked about music and food. And
what was the music like? Because I love music, I always circle back to it. Was there a band that you guys bonded over? There's always like one, even the Beatles count, right?
I think it was Flaming Lips.
No kidding.
So I was thinking it might have been because I was listening to a lot of The Cure at the time.
Yeah, but it wasn't
no.
Either one of those is going to make you both look incredibly cool.
Yeah, no,
but
17
I don't know. Seconds is
not really
the Cure
no.
record that. But
we don't know.
So it worked out, right? Obviously, we're here. How long have you guys been married now, or together? How long total?
Together, over 10 years.
10 years.
That's crazy. Yeah. Did you ever imagine you'd be in business with one another?
No, definitely not.
No. Did you resist it at every corner?
Yes. Yeah. I could go back in the future and tell my younger self.
So, Wes, you grew up in, you said Little Rock, or was it outside of Little Rock?
Yeah, I grew up in Little Rock.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were you into when you were younger?
Well, I was in when I was in high school, I was in a band.
What'd you play?
Played bass.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's why you were admiring the Fender bass here in the corner.
I and your jazz bass. Yeah, I was doing that, and then I started working in restaurants when I was like 15.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty young.
Washing dishes.
Was it was it a family thing? Like, was your family in the business or?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Like your parents? Would they do?
Oh, my dad was a lawyer.
Okay.
And my mom, she was a buyer decorator for like a what would you call it? Just like a China home goods shop.
Register for weddings at, I don't know.
Okay.
So
a lot of those goddamn places.
Yeah.
He used to wrap packages when he was young.
Yeah. So you're like this kind of nice blend of what seems like a little bit arty, crafty on your mom's side, maybe, right? And then your dad is like incredibly structured and probably really detailed. Is that fair? Ish.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Yeah.
Super waspy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is anybody that is in Little Rock not waspy?
No.
I'm not going to cast any generalizations because I've been to Little Rock.
It's pretty safe.
And it was exactly like that.
You can generalize.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. Do you have any siblings?
I do. My brother, Jeff, he actually joined our company
a year ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Younger or older?
2 years older.
Did he, were you the successful one? Does he look back at you like, that son of a bitch making a company? He's got to hire me.
Oh, man. Well, he was an energy broker in Houston.
Okay.
And I mean, basically we would talk on the phone all the time about, hey, what are you doing? What are, back and forth. And he was, not that he was unhappy. He was just like super burnout.
Well, it's kind of boring.
Living in Houston.
I mean, no offense, but Houston's, all right, I'm not even getting into Houston. But energy, let's just say energy seemingly would be boring after a while.
Yeah.
He worked the night shift too. He would have to you do like 3 straight weeks of night shift, and then he gets a week off.
Oh man,
he hated
that's rough. So was he was ready then for a change?
Yeah, he was ready for a change, and he went to school here at UT.
Oh, cool. In finance or something, or
advertising.
Advertising. Yeah. Did he bring that portfolio to the company when he hopped on?
No.
Mary's shaking her head like, I still got to do that.
Yeah. No, but he and Casey, his wife, and their 2 boys, I think they're really happy here. And
that's killer.
It's been nice having them.
Yeah.
They live really close to us, which is...
They rented a house 3 blocks away from us.
No kidding. Do you value family being close by? A lot of people I could take them or leave them.
I mean, it has its days.
Yeah.
It definitely has its days. And then, I see Jeff every single day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's good though. I mean,
cool.
we're pretty close.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, actually, we're extremely close. So it's great.
That's great. So the music thing, see, I always draw this parallel between spirits or beer or even just creating a like a tangible product. I don't feel the same way about apps and stuff like that because you can't touch it. It's very easy to do that. But do you feel like your predilection towards creating music and playing music, that helped you think about creating a brand differently? Because you think about tastes, right? Bass, mid, treble. It's really not so different. Or is it a totally different side of your brain?
I would actually, instead of thinking it more from the music perspective, I was doing food for a while.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I was 15, right?
I always draw more of a parallel to food, just because it's obviously you're talking about olfactory and all that stuff.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, just kind of that balance, and like you're saying, having something that's tangible.
Yeah.
To me, is very rewarding at the end of the day because I can actually.
You're physically leaving an imprint.
I can physically say this is what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for me, just in this whole creative aspect of making different products.
Right. It's killer. It's just something different about sweating towards making something that you hold in your hands. Some people like having kids. I like making bottles of gin. I mean, it's just like it's the same kind of thing, man. Leaving your imprint on the world, But Mary, did you also grow up in Little Rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or right outside. Various
suburbia outside.
Yes.
I can't imagine you growing up on a farm, so I think that's good.
But same thing. I worked in restaurants since I was 15.
No kidding.
And grew up loving it. And
parents in the same kind of field. Were your parents ever in food?
Nope. My parents are. My dad's a banker and my mom's a nurse.
No kidding.
So, yes.
So I
just really like to eat.
Yeah. Where did it come from? Like, can you imagine the first time where you're like, I just want to deal with food?
Well, at 15, I wanted my own money.
Right.
And that was the driving force.
That's a good thing.
I wanted to go out with my friends, and I didn't want to have to ask my parents for money.
Right.
So I became a hostess
what was that first?
Like a dive Tex-Mex
really?
restaurant. Yeah.
Did you?
What was the name?
I got my wallet. What was that? I got my wallet still in there.
At the dive Tex-Mex place?
Cafe Santa Fe.
No kidding. Which is funny because you're in Arkansas with a New Mexico name for a Tex-Mex place. I'm already confused.
It closed.
Did it?
Shortly thereafter.
How was the food?
Meh.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Did they have any mezcal? That's what everybody's wondering.
Absolutely.
No, of course not, right?
No.
Well, so where did that,
frozen
how did that,
margaritas.
Oh yeah, the frozen margaritas, yes. The headache machine.
Yes.
God, you gotta love it. What, I see, so you obviously did that for a bit, you and Wes both did, but you met in college, so what were you studying in college?
Advertising and public relations underneath a broader journalism umbrella.
Really?
Yes.
So that actually paid off pretty well.
Right. No, I knew I knew right from the beginning I wanted to do some type of PR advertising.
What was it about PR? Is it the freedom? Is it the creating the voice of a brand? What exactly drew you to it?
I think I can't pinpoint it for certain, but I think I really just dug hearing other people's stories and telling them and making their businesses better for it.
Yeah.
And getting, everyone wants butts and seats at the end of the day when it comes to restaurants. Or
did you freelance then? Now you've got a really kind of a nice legacy in a sense. You've got a staff, you've got perennial, you've got great clients. Did you have that first freelance client that you worked for, like a friend that you were?
No, actually, right when I graduated college, I moved out to Napa where he was in culinary school. And we both were working at Meadowood, Napa Valley, which is now, it's internationally renowned. It's gorgeous, but now it has 2 Michelin stars.
3.
No kidding.
My bad. 3.
Wow. And it was the detail-oriented Wes over here, right?
He's very much detail-oriented.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, so he was cooking and I was doing basically guest itineraries for like the glitterati, making them wine reservations and dinner reservations. And
so it was becoming, because that's a nice, in a sense, a hybrid, right? Of kind of PR and the food. And so did you guys wrap up college, finish your degrees, and then head out to Napa after that?
Well, he went, he's a couple of years older than me. So he went to culinary school my senior year of college.
Oh, okay. Was it long distance for a bit then?
Yeah.
Long distance for a year.
How was that?
Actually, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really great.
He was like thousands of miles away. Why wouldn't that be awesome?
As a high school senior or college senior, getting to go to Napa Valley about 5 times a year, that was
not
pretty
so
rad.
bad. And you get to come back, right?
Right, exactly. No, it was really fun.
Yeah.
How long were you guys in Napa?
Was it?
You were there for 2.5?
2.5, almost 3.
Yeah.
And I was there for about a year.
So pretty good pedigree. Mm-hmm. Working in Napa at a Michelin star, now a 3 Michelin star restaurant, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Were you a sous chef? Were you?
No, I was just working the line.
Oh, cool.
I would, there's this one place I worked at where I would, depending on whether I had morning or night classes, it's basically when I was in school, I was working.
Gotcha.
So actually, and that was another thing when Mary moved out, we barely ever saw each other.
Yeah.
She was working crazy shifts, and then between work and school, like I was never around.
Right. That's the life, right? Of a line.
Yeah.
You just don't have time.
Yeah. And I had no friends there too. I hung out with all the bellboys.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Killer, right? Yeah.
We had a great time.
So why the hell would you go from Napa, even though it's incredibly expensive? I mean, maybe that's one reason, but what drew you down to Austin then?
Well, next stop was San Francisco.
I should have known. Yeah. I should have known it would have been another amazing place. Was it another gig for you?
No, Mary she was interning, she was interning and working full time at Meadowood.
Okay.
She was interning in the city.
Mm-hmm.
7 days a week.
So
oh, wow.
You got your job opportunity down there, and I basically just tried to find something to do.
What'd you find? There's bound to be some service stuff, right?
Yeah, I ended up...
You didn't have to be a gigolo, did you?
Oh.
That's happened to a couple of people.
We would have made a lot more money.
There's a market for everybody. I feel like I could have made something. I mean... I got a job with...
Do you want to talk cider?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about my body?
Either way, it's both stunning.
It's just content.
Sure. So, where'd you end up then? Was just doing this?
I ended up working for a guy named Tyler Florence.
I know of Tyler Florence, yeah. The pretty boy, Tyler Florence?
Yes, I was the
I don't know him
of the
personally,
pretty boy.
so I'll take as many shots as I can.
Yeah.
So what were you doing for Tyler Florence?
Man, it was kind of crazy. I started off doing some cookbook stuff, and then he opened a kitchen store, and I was helping out with that. And then we'd always do these festivals, projects.
Right.
So there's a lot of food focus to it.
It was right when he was coming out with his baby food. So Wes went to a lot of baby food conferences.
How was that? That's got to be mind-numbing, I would imagine.
Quite a bit about baby food.
That's good. How often do you eat baby food?
It's been 6 years.
I weaned off of it.
Yeah. Actually, I remember going to San Antonio, and I thought San Antonio was just a terrible place.
Why?
Well, this was a couple years ago. I was there for a baby food convention. I was not happy about being there.
I think that's how most horror movies start. I was at a baby food convention in San Antonio. What? No ticket out.
God, those moms were crazy. Anyway,
I can't imagine. But so that is a crazy tangent for a career, right? Did you ever imagine you're going to be doing baby food for Tyler Florence's line? Is that ultimately what it was? Is he was diversifying his brand?
And at the time, we were trying to open a couple restaurants, one in Mill Valley, one in the city. And, we were doing dinners for like investors and everything.
Right.
And there was he had so many things going on.
Yeah.
This like functional schizophrenia that I just like couldn't understand.
Right.
But actually I learned a lot from him as far as like you've got to put a lot of feelers out there.
A lot of irons in the fire, as they say.
To make something successful.
Yeah.
And actually one of the things that we were working on was his wine brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more like my intro into this is the business side of how, having a winery works. Like this is sort of the infrastructure.
Did you find that interesting at that point?
Oh yeah, totally. Surprisingly simple too.
Really?
And it really demystified the whole, this is what it takes to have your own winery. And
so that it was
or
percolating.
Wine, not a winery.
Right, because it's just a label for him, right?
Yeah, it's just a
you
label.
make it a crush pad in San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah,
it's blending.
Yeah,
So,
and you pick the foil stamp for the label. Yeah.
You might get to pick out your bottle if you want to.
Maybe. How was it working with him? I mean, he's a maybe not then, but he's a celebrity chef now. Is he a guy that's is he pretty accessible?
Oh yeah, completely. His team at the time was great. Reed, his manager, Anthony was doing most of the culinary. Just a fantastic team.
Yeah, it's a great place to learn, I imagine.
Yeah, it was cool.
Did you? I gotta feel like that's one of those spots where like, yeah, this is pretty nice that I'm doing this here.
Yeah, it was
Cush gig, as they say. Not that it was easy. You got to deal with baby food, which no one ever. I'll never meet another person ever that has to deal with baby food. But so San Francisco's going. You're working with Tyler Florence. You're getting a better understanding of maybe the booze industry. Maybe things are starting to percolate. Mary's working but you had a full-time gig then, or you're still interning?
Right.
Or,
No. Yeah. I was hired on at Andrew Freeman and Company, which is one of San Francisco's first boutique hospitality PR firms.
Oh wow!
And so that's where I was his executive assistant.
No kidding. How was that experience? Like secretary?
It's fucking crazy.
Everything I've learned about
he is dynamite.
Good guy.
And really good guy, but just all over the place. Sure. And I did everything from get his dry cleaning to schedule everything and go to every single meeting with him and take notes, which I think is where I learned the bulk of my PR experience.
What is the most notable brand in his portfolio of hospitality? I'm not too familiar. I was curious.
He does all the Kimpton hotels.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Most of the Kimpton hotels.
Yeah,
he used
big.
to be their in-house marketing for them before he started his own.
Oh wow.
PR firm. So that was the big brand.
Yeah.
And then a lot of just really cool spots like Perbaco and.
Wow.
He has even more now. His office is huge.
Crazy.
Now, so
it's like
a big influence.
Again, the stages are getting set. Wes is learning about booze and kind of maybe thinking about how that would work out. You're working in hospitality, and where does this all come to a head in San Francisco? What happens that drives you guys to that next phase?
It was the Houston airport.
Oh yeah, no, we
that's never inspired anybody.
No.
Just for the record.
No, well, we were engaged, and I think we were just really homesick.
Really,
we
missing the South or
missing
Arkansas?
the South.
Yeah,
missing the South.
Yeah,
I don't remember why were we in the Houston airport. We were coming to and from Little Rock for some reason, and then we just decided we wanted to. We had just gotten engaged, and we wanted to move south, but not to Arkansas.
Right, because no one would do that willingly.
I mean, our jobs really don't exist there, or they didn't. Then.
Not then, but maybe now. I mean, stuff's kind of
actually, there's some actually really cool things happening in Little Rock and Fayetteville, and
so you're in Houston now. So luckily, it's a cheap flight to Austin from Houston, but. What happens there? Like, you guys make the decision just to not get on the plane to go somewhere else?
That was basically just where we
were
had
just in a layover, waiting to go back to San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Right.
At Papados. Yeah.
Papados, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, where else do you eat in the Houston airport?
It doesn't matter because it's Papados.
Exactly.
We just kind of decided then and there we've got to get out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's I guess we were both kind of at a point in our career where either we were going to stay in San Francisco and ride it out for
God knows how long, right? How long it would take.
Just really, And I think we both saw it as a perfect time to go ahead and relocate and find a new city somewhere that we wanted to grow and thrive into.
And a little bit more affordable.
Sure. Yeah, the affordability was huge.
Yeah.
How disappointed you must be as Austin becomes increasingly more expensive. Well, at the time, though, right?
We got lucky, yeah. So we got real lucky.
So you guys drove to Austin? Did you fly up? What happened after that Papados drunken narrative? I imagine.
Definitely a lot of venting.
No, I ended up getting a freelance job working for a PR firm in Austin, writing for them.
Oh, cool.
And we didn't even drive here to scope out apartments. We just
went. Yeah, we just Googled apartments.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you flew out, like on a Thursday, end up having a place on Friday? Like, is that how quick it turned around?
We drove from San Francisco with my dad, and we came in on Halloween Day.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So then that would make, how many years now? Because we're coming up on Halloween.
7
years.
7.
Never looked back?
No, not at all. I mean, sometimes we'll say, oh, we miss it because of
the weather,
this location, the weather.
Right.
Yeah.
The Thai food.
The Thai food. That's a good point.
But for the most part, no, never looked back.
So it seemed like Austin, at least at that time, you said 7 years. So we're talking like 2008, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a really prime time for cocktail culture. Was actually just, you can say there were some places on the map, but ultimately there wasn't the culture that there is now. It was just starting to percolate.
I mean, I had a job coming in, and Wes, a Culinary Institute of America graduate, could not find a job anywhere.
No kidding.
Yeah,
crazy.
I went stash at Olivia twice.
Did you really?
Shucked oysters the whole time.
Yeah.
We still give James shit for it.
Yeah.
No kidding.
James. No, I couldn't find a job, but eventually I got a job at Whole Foods as basically the lead teacher.
Oh, really?
Doing all the classes for the LCC and writing all the recipes and all that stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was actually kind of a dream job because I just got to go up to Whole Foods with my little shopping cart and just throw whatever I wanted to cook in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a fantastic job.
He was a really good teacher. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I imagine you got a nice background, working with some celebrity chefs, working with baby food, working in Napa at a Michelin star. I mean, that's a great background to start anything. So what was that moment? So you're still, I mean, I try not to give any credence or any kind of call out to the company that you worked for, but you worked for restaurant PR, right? How was that experience? Did it start to wear you down where you're like, I got it. I have to do this myself?
It was more like I wasn't so interested in the clients I was being assigned.
Gotcha. Because you had no say in the clients probably, right?
Yeah. No. And me and my now business partner, Allie, were...
you guys both worked there?
Yes. That's cool. Where we met and left together. And we both were on the same page. We could do this maybe better ourselves in a different house. And we can pick the clients that we love.
Right.
And then the ones that we did love came with us.
Which is killer.
Yeah.
Did that cause any animosity? I mean, I suspect that it would cause a lot.
Yes.
Just all this non-compete shit with the PR business, you know.
I actually didn't have a non-compete, which was good for me.
That is
not so much for...
Did Allie have one?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of got out and...
Scot-free.
That's really, really good.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we will be 4 years old in January.
Yeah. And so it's been a bit of a journey there, which I kind of want to get into a little bit, if that's
okay.
Right.
You sure?
Yeah. And so Argus, you guys are thinking about it. You're at I love it because I'm thinking of this as like a movie and we're back at the hot house.
Yeah.
With the exposed wires, the great fermentation in the winter because everything's so fucking thermally sound, and Leander. And so what is Argus? Like if you could say what it means to you, what was the thing that you wanted to do that was unique to you? It's one of those
it was definitely using Texas fruit and making dry more like hybrid Spanish French style ciders out of Texas fruit.
Right.
I mean that was pretty much it
from
day one.
And did that branch out? I mean, I know you did the pineapple wine, the tepache.
Yeah, just
you got funky, man. Like you started something
we went out there.
Yeah,
we definitely went out there.
How does that work? Because cider, and I can see him grinning, right? Cider you can dial it in. People are relatively familiar, but once you start working with this other stuff, which as an artist you want to do,
right?
How does that resonate with people?
That was Tepache was definitely the concept album.
Yeah.
And
oh man, I gotta think of a concept album that didn't work. There's gotta be one. Just think of just while we're doing this. Think of a concept album that didn't work.
I'll come up with one.
Please do. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness did not work for me. By the way, that's a terrible concept album, in my opinion. So I'm one of the minorities there. But anyway, so you're working on this stuff the concept records.
Yeah, and then we started out. Okay, this is all the Texas fruit we can get.
Right.
So we wanted to produce something else so that we could produce year round.
Right.
And have more raw product to work with.
Yeah.
So we came out with Tepache. That was Tepache. And
wait. That was Tepache. Tell me, did it turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out?
It did.
Okay.
It did. It came out exactly the way we wanted it to come out.
Right.
Now the problem with that was we were thinking, okay, we're located right down the street from Jester King.
Sure.
We're like, people really want funky and sour.
Right.
Like, everyone's starting to talk about the
Leonard
Weisses.
Yeah.
And it's nuts because it still is such a divisive product. People either absolutely love it.
It's polarizing, man.
Or think it is just the worst thing they've ever put in their mouth. So conceptually, it came out perfect.
Because it did. It was a conversation piece at the very least, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the only thing was, I made this decision to do this without really without trying this on people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just trying to push it down their throats.
Yeah, you felt it.
And I learned Tepache. We learned a lot from Tepache. I mean, we still
a ton of it.
Yeah, we still make Tepache, and we will continue to do so. But sort of our takeaway from it was, people want something very easy to drink.
Sure. Accessible. They don't want a concept album.
Right.
So
we recently came out with a pop album.
Thank you very much. I love it. I love that analogy.
The whole Fermentables line is all about clean, dry, easy to drink. We can produce those year round, and it also affords us to be able to just purchase whatever crazy fruit we can get our hands on.
And it looks good. The branding on it's just spectacular.
That's
totally
all
Mary, right?
That's all Mary.
Yeah, obviously got a talent. Like, that's bound to be. I
just figured it out. I don't do it actually.
Well, but it looks great.
It's Emma.
Right.
Yeah, it's really, really it's effective because it's instantly familiar, much like a pop record, if you will. Mm-hmm. How do you feel, Mary, like watching the ups and downs of the creative process? Which it's like, dude, you did that.
The summer of
damn
Tepache.
It, really?
The summer of Tepache.
The summer of Tepache. Tepachery.
Yeah. No, I mean, Wes knew right away when I tried it that maybe not the general public will quite dig it unless you add agave nectar and add ice and maybe add some topo on top and really bastardize the shit out of it.
How does that work then when that happens? Like, I'm sure you have no problem telling him exactly what you think.
No, I don't. Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
not at all.
No. Definitely not. And normally she doesn't even have to say anything. So I'm like, all right, I get it. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
No, I mean,
eyes?
it was most, well, no, it's just,
that general.
That's almost the worst, right?
Right.
It's not, I don't like this. It's like, it's not your best.
Exactly.
Which is the worst goddamn thing to hear.
And he gets
sad. It's hard for me too. It's like, well, I can't really drink this. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll start over.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard, right?
Then the question was, how are we going to move this?
Right. How much is left now?
You
don't have to tell me, but I imagine there's some, right?
Yeah, there's probably about 150 cases left.
That's not that much.
Well, and the thing is, like, we just did this festival with Shelton Brothers, our national distributor.
In St. Petersburg?
In St. Petersburg. Yeah. And this was a room full of people that want to drink, like, Cantillon and just, like, super funky farm farmhouse style beers.
Right.
And anytime we pour Tepache, I'm like, God, I don't want to interact with these people. I'm like, I either love it or hate it. And it was just like home run every single time.
That's amazing.
Those are his
every
people.
single time.
It was like right where you were made to be.
Yeah.
Your key demographic.
So
did that make it feel better? I mean, I'm sure that's...
I slept really well that night.
Good, yeah, that's what I'm wondering, right? Like, there's a little bit of affirmation.
Yeah.
There's always the drunkest sleep.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other issue.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it seems like you've recovered well. You put out. I don't know. In terms of like, you could say critical. Let's just talk in terms of music, right? Like it's like a commercial failure, but it's not, right?
It's really not. I mean,
you moved the needle. People were talking about it. You created something that no one did before in Texas. I mean, that's got to be good feeling.
I mean, that's always been one of the main things that we've tried to do, is to give the public, give consumers a product that they can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy because
product.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you were to look at the press for it, you would think it's a bestseller. We got Garden and Gun Best of the South. We were a finalist.
Yeah, it was like I couldn't stop reading about it. I
and
had to try it.
Every single story last summer was cocktails to make with Tepache.
Yeah.
And so
It was nuts, yeah.
It's like a bizarro world.
Right.
PR is bizarro.
True
because the people are selling you this concept that things are this way. And it's like, the sky's green. Well, wait, though. I'm looking at the sky.
Yeah.
Are you well, I'm wrong, because it's got to be green, because I read all that.
But it is a good cocktail ingredient.
Sure.
I just can't drink it by itself.
Yeah.
The concept album.
Yeah.
Man, there's got to be another concept album. I keep thinking about this. I'm racking my brain.
What is
It's funny, you went to Smashing Pumpkins.
That's the one, though, because it's a 2-disc record. They threw all the good songs off. Like, if you listen to the B-sides for that record, that is an amazing record that never happened. Oh, yeah. The Zero... Oh, God, don't even get me started. The 1979 single, the Zero single, the Bullet with Butterflies and Wings single, all those B-sides make up better songs. And that's Flood's fault. Flood, the producer, is the one that wanted it to make it a concept record. And really, really trimmed it into, like, this just limp kind of record. It's got some dynamic. Yeah, I mean, I've got it for sure. There's some great songs, but I absolutely digress. As a kid of the 80s and 90s, going on a rant about melancholy, that hasn't happened in a long time for anybody. Well, so let's draw the parallel then, Mary, because I've actually known you quite a while. Mm-hmm. And even from the moment that we were starting, Genius was starting, and I always was drawn to the way that you thought about things and the strength that you had and the talent on your team. Like, that was something that was like, these guys are gonna fucking kill it, and they're gonna be subversive, but in a very, very good way, right? Not an unethical way. Mm-hmm. So you guys, I feel like you approached everything correctly. You had a great staff, and then all of a sudden, the industry, which, I love the conspiracy theories about what happened with this whole thing. But then, like, all of a sudden, you've invested your love and your passion into PR, and then PR fucks you.
Yeah, big time.
Right? And like, oh, well, they're racist now. Strange Fruit is obviously an allusion to hanging people for racist reasons. I mean, how did that feel that you basically were stabbed in the back by the industry that you helped make in Austin?
My heart got pulled out.
Yeah.
It was devastating.
It's insane.
It was me sitting in a dark room on Saturday night, shaking because you see all these Twitter posts coming over and over, and you're like, I didn't even know something could hit this fast until it happens to you.
It was a crazy night.
How did you feel about it, Wes? Like, I mean, you can watch her passion project, right? Her livelihood getting fucking choked by the media.
Well, I just
brewers don't have feelings normally, but just
don't believe that most people need a voice to vent.
Right.
Twitter is just
you find it inconsequential at the end of the day, right?
Guys, come on,
right?
You're being such a dicks.
But it's like there's the normal. Oh, I'm gonna make fun of Donald Trump, which is fun, really fun.
Sure.
Making fun of Hillary Clinton, that's fun too, right? And it's just kind of other times it's very, very perennial, it's oddly enough. But this was vindictive.
It was very just.
There was something different about this.
Yeah, it felt very personal.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was a personal attack on you and Ali?
I feel like there was probably certain aspects of it that were very personal.
Yeah.
I feel like many people jumped on this thought that we were racist because we named it, or we're just two dumb white girls that didn't know up from down, and that we were so insensitive to, the nation's plight that we would name our company this, and that was obviously not the case.
Of course not.
Should we have named it that? Probably not.
That's a great Catherine Wheel song. I sent it to you.
Yes, you did. No,
it could mean a lot of different things.
Right, it could be, and
that's
what we thought it could be, and obviously, it wasn't.
Yeah, so. It's such an interesting scenario, and in my time in Austin, I haven't seen such like a witch hunt, because that's what it felt like.
Once it hit, and then the whole fake Twitter account was just like just turn it.
Is it in any way flattering that someone's going to go to that level?
Shit. No, it was horrifying.
Yeah.
It was absolutely devastating. But with all of that, it was amazing to see who really supported us and really respected our work.
Right.
And we kept almost all of our clients through that all, and they're all actually still with us.
Yeah.
And
now it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. And we actually, and I don't even think I've told you this.
Oh, please.
We changed our name 2 weeks ago.
Well, this is a great occasion that we're...
So we decided we are Resplendent Hospitality now.
Resplendent. I like that. That's
we had to name ourselves Perennial in about 48 hours.
Gotcha.
Less than.
But perennial ironically just means short-lived, doesn't it?
Well, it actually means coming back, and always coming back is the same thing, which we don't want
tenacity,
to be. Right.
In a sense.
Which is good
in
a certain respect, but we've decided, in addition to PR and marketing, which we've always had kind of a one-tone business as far as that's concerned, to do more events and talent booking, a more sophisticated social media program.
Stepping into maybe entertainment and stuff like that.
Yes, and brand identity work, all of which we've been doing for our clients so far, but we've never really formalized nor monetized on it. Yeah. So, so we are Resplendent Hospitality.
So when is that shift going to happen in the social media and stuff? Has it already happened?
It's happened.
Oh, cool.
We've done a very slow roll of it, obviously, since you don't even know.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I try to keep up with this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not oblivious.
It was a labor of love, but we're really excited about it. And all of our clients really dig it. And
same clients.
All the same.
Are we able to talk about Barley Swine of having a second location?
So it's actually not a second location.
Oh, they just relocated?
They are going to be relocating because of the landlord. Everyone's moving out of that facility.
Yeah, I know that Anthony and Chad from Lick, they've got that second spot too up there.
So it's going to be bigger and a little bit different, but
well, that spot. You'll see some shops or centers, if you will, pop up around town. That center right there will define Burnett.
Right.
I have no doubt that you've got Lick, Bufalina, Barley Swine. That will define it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. When do you guys know when?
They're saying November. I bet it'll be December.
So
and
December.
Bryce Gilmer has only opened restaurants in December. His entire
kidding.
tenure of opening restaurants, which is kind of funny because we always say early fall, and then it's always December.
Well, that's good. I think that's fair then. It's always December. So it's about, are we past a year now since this whole bullshit kind of happened?
It'll be a year in December.
Yeah. I feel just about that. How do you feel like you're personally in a much better place now? Or is it the same? Or
I feel that we are still tiptoeing around often, and that, we're very much aware, way more aware of things we put out there in the public, as far as, we just went on social media 2 weeks ago it'll be Monday as of 2 weeks ago. So I'm very much in tune to that. And I always just kind of prepare for the worst now.
Right. Which is, it's kind of a shame, right?
It
the
is.
guy becoming jaded in love, right? Your heart's going to get broken.
No, Allie and I really feel very jaded. And
that's a shame.
For people whose job is to embrace the public, that's not very...
And not be jaded about the public.
Right.
It's got to be tough. There's this thing I was listening to, and Mark Maron is a huge influence. I'm just going to say this one time, and that's the only time I'm going to say it. I love Mark Maron. But he was interviewing Bob Guccione Jr., his father started Penthouse, but he started Spin. Mm-hmm. And Spin was a really subversive but yet effective journalistic platform in the 80s and the early 90s. And so they talk about how everybody is offended by something and all these kinds of things. How do you feel that now that anything that you could say could be misconstrued and will be, and someone's going to always find it offensive? Like, this wasn't like that 2-3 years ago.
No.
I mean, how do you feel about, like, every word is just scrutinized and for no reason?
I mean, it's scary, but then at the end of the day, sometimes you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Right.
What do you do to make everyone happy and appease the public? And, you can't.
Yeah. And they forget anyway.
Absolutely. The attention span is a blip on the radar.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's a weird piece. Wes, do you get into the social part of the Argus brand at all, or do you let Mary and the Resplendent do it?
Pretty simply, no.
You don't want to do it, do you?
I mean, I just found out about Instagram.
It's a thing now. Apparently,
he gets the updates on his phone. It's really adorable seeing him check it.
Yeah, I'm like,
do you do the out of focus selfies and shit?
Oh, I haven't gotten to that part of the technology yet. So.
Thank you very much.
He actually sent me his first selfie when he was in St. Pete's.
No kidding.
First off, I was drunk as shit.
Sure, of course.
And I think I was trying to turn my phone off.
No, he sent me a selfie and it was captioned sleep. And that was it.
It's like
his pants were still on. So you did it right.
Yeah.
Because that's the main mistake that many people make, right?
Yes.
So this is the time in the interview in which we'll talk briefly. Every time we bring up a bottle, and we get to sip a bottle from the collection and kind of talk about it. And I think that, Wes, you picking a brandy more or less makes a lot of sense, right? It's just this evolution of what you're already working on if you think about it, just the distilled evolution, right? So we picked up a 1973 a bottle that was distilled in 1973. I'm not sure how long it was aged, but at least 15 to 18 years. And it's a Marie Defoe Armagnac. And speaking of brandies, right? Yeah. Armagnac is the punk band that opened up for Green Day. Green Day got all the glory, and this is cognac, but then that band was really, really great. Like you talk about, I could talk about the Descendants or Bad Religion, and this is more that than it is that glossy punk. But what do you think about the flavor of it? You finished yours already, Wes, so I'm gonna assume you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. Anytime that I have a spirit where, any brown spirit that has obviously seen some oak.
Sure.
If it's an oak bomb, to me, first off,
you're out.
It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
But this one's like nice and sweet.
It is.
And that's all. I mean, that's all oak right there.
Yeah. But it's back there just watching. It's not forcing you. It's not beating you over the head with it. What do you think, Mary?
Not making a big deal out of itself.
Yeah. Because you're well immersed in spirits culture in Austin, so you've got a palate for that stuff as well. What do you think of the Armagnac?
Oh, I dig it. What he was saying, it doesn't, I don't think it makes a big deal out of itself. It kind of just,
it's fucking self-evident how good it is.
Right.
That's the greatest thing.
It's like, it just right off the bat, it's just like raisins, vanilla, and I mean,
it makes you want to bathe in it.
Definitely.
It'll burn a little bit. So wear pants.
We're doing
probably.
That later. Yeah.
Wear some pants. Just wear some pants.
Any open cuts.
Just bring a straw.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Yeah.
But speaking of distilled spirits, you told me that you guys bought, let's say you bought a completely licensed still that the TTP knows about, no problems legally. So what's the plan there?
We can actually, with our license, we can't distill.
Oh, but you can own one.
But we can make essences.
Okay.
And the only thing
I guess, Mary, are you just finding out about it?
I have no idea about
Yeah, let's nerd out about stills.
As long as it's fruit to fruit, so we can blend apples with apples, pears with pears. Mm-hmm. Because I've always wanted to do a fortified cider.
Yeah.
And
with like a brandy back or a apple distillate backing the cider.
More of like the eau de vie.
Got it. Okay.
And this is just a way for us to to get our efficiencies up a little bit better, because in our process, whether it's bottling, what have you, there's always a certain amount of waste.
Sure.
And this is just to try and get 100% efficiency.
Right. Kind of like with the grappa we were talking about, right? You have that second press.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself releasing a fortified wine or a fortified cider?
We'll be releasing one. I don't know when.
Sure.
But that's going to be our next release. We've got our 100% stellar apple release coming out here.
What is a stellar apple? Is it a certain varietal?
Yeah, it's a certain varietal.
Sweet or dry or?
It is an apple that almost tastes like a pear.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. You can't really find it commercially available.
Yeah.
We were working with a grower last year out of Arkansas. He's got
taking it back home.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 6 acres that is basically his hobby orchard. He's a pomologist by trade.
Cool.
And he has all these stellar trees. Once again, this is a grower that never had any kind of viable means to move his bee fruit, let's call it. And God, shit, we did like 10 trips up to Arkansas last year picking up apples.
Wow. Did you go? You guys both?
No,
you like it's the manual labor, Wes.
Nope. This is
See ya.
We did have our neighbor last Halloween ring with his kid, and he was like, "Man, what's with all the apples?" Because like he would come late at night and have this giant trailer of apples, like
what's
right in front of the house. Like,
what is he gonna do with these apples? Like what?
It was really funny.
I wonder what he thought we did with them.
I don't know.
I mean, it's Halloween applesauce is good.
Yeah.
A lot of parties, a lot of people bobbing for
1 million caramel apples.
Big line of people that want to bob for apples. Like, who are you people?
It's a hell of a party house. So you fermented some of them, and are you that far down the path with this?
Yeah, we're just now pulling them out of barrels and doing the blending.
Oh, cool.
Actually, tomorrow I'm going to be finishing all the blending.
Oh wow.
But yeah, just we'll do that one, and then with our leftover barrels, that's going to go into a blend. Getting back to the cork and cage, that we initially did with all of our brut styles, but I just want to do one that's fortified, just because that element of sweetness and sort of kind of what we're seeing here in this Armagnac, like that nice, just warm,
right.
That
man,
warm
something
head.
that's past. It's like love.
That's
the love note. Yeah, it's warm fuzzy for sure. Yeah. It's something very appealing about that.
That's my educated descriptor.
That's way better than saying mouthfeel all the time, just for the record. So,
what was the word? Love? Was that what you said?
Warm fuzzy.
Warm fuzzies.
But that's good. I mean, it is. You can something that's beautiful, and you taste it, and you don't have to question it. That is love. Not to get sappy, but honestly, like any spirit. Like that's why bourbon is so enjoyable for me personally. It's like if you drink the great bourbon, you can taste the love in it.
That's awesome.
And the Armagnac, this particular one's no different. But so you think you're going to put it out? I would love to taste it. And if you did put it out, how long do you think you are away from it?
It'll probably be. God, I'd give anything if I could get it out. In the winter, but realistically,
approval,
I know I'm going to end up, going through the distillation and then thinking, all right, we need to throw this in some barrels. It needs more time. So who knows? Probably next summer, next spring.
Well, let's talk. If you get down there using the still, and not that you would have questions, because I have full faith that your Brainiac nature and CIA, right? You're a Culinary Institute of America guy.
Yep.
Is that right?
That is correct.
I can't help worth a shit. That's it. I'm a guy. I'm a totally, I'm just a dude. So
yeah, I just need to buy some books and figure out what's going on.
That's the best way.
And that's another. He's totally self-taught. He got
brilliant.
The UC Davis wine course materials. So just read them all.
Yeah. Honestly, the information that's at our disposal in this particular era of technology.
Right? Oh, it's incredible.
It's insane. I wouldn't have known shit about Sotola unless we found this case study from a Mexican college. And it has the pHs, it has the SGs, bricks, it has everything. Like, all right, well, this is at my desk at all times now. It's perfect,
And I'm reaping all the
I'm
benefits.
totally going to reap the benefits of being obsessed with detail.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I remember I did a Google search one time on co-fermentations of doing MLF at the same time as your primary. And it's like, oh, here's this 20-page document that I can just hit print.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel like we're cheating our way through this.
Fantastic.
We're stumbling upwards.
Yes.
So for Resplendent, You guys have had the rebrand. It's about 2 weeks old. You're venturing into entertainment. When is that first? Is Elton John going to be the first entertainment?
Well, mostly right now we're looking to work with different brands for South by events. That's the big type of events we're booking right now.
Yeah.
And the point of it too was because we really don't want to grow our client family too big because we really enjoy the people we work with and don't want to take too. I mean, there's obviously a different restaurant opening every single day or bar in Austin, and we really love the clients we work with, and the more people we take on, the more conflicts, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so we wanted to find a way, because you guys were talking about tangible things that you can hold in your hand. PR is not so much that.
Right.
But getting
an event is, right?
Events and booking parties and events at the venues, that's tangible extra income that we can show them at the end of the year that we helped bring in for them.
Yeah, it's great.
Or helping them do their website on the back end or anything like that. Just taking things off their plate every day are things that we want to help with.
So I think this is a great question to wrap things up, but you have any artist you can work with and throw an event for. Let's say the world is at your disposal.
Oh, shit.
Who is the person that you would book and say, this is going to be the best fucking event ever?
David Bowie.
Oh my God. That's a brilliant. What do you think, Wes? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
good. You'll come up with something.
I was thinking more from a comedy standpoint.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That works too, right?
Yeah.
F1 just happened.
I don't know.
You can't bring George Carlin back, man. I'm sorry.
No, I think if they're dead, they just need to.
They're gonna have to stay there. But David Bowie, that's pretty brilliant. You've got to at least match that.
I'm definitely not going to match it. No offense to these guys, but no, I'd probably do Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good.
Just bring him back.
Yeah,
I've never seen Wes so bummed with the show canceled.
No kidding.
Flight of the Conchords.
Yes.
A Brit guy I'm a Brit guy.
I think I'm more Jermaine.
I think I like Jermaine.
Really? He's so weird looking.
I know.
Exactly.
I love him, but
that's why we like him.
Brits.
And he plays the bass, so yeah.
It brings it all back. Back to the bass.
Tell Mike who you opened for at Riverfest.
Oh yeah.
One time in Little Rock. It's like our big.
Yeah, the claim to fame for Wes.
Yeah, I think it was.
Forget this cider thing.
It was 2001.
Set the scene.
Won the Battle of the Bands. And opened for Blues Traveler.
No way, John Popper. Pre-fat or post-fat?
Wow. No, he was still fat.
Oh, that's classic John Popper.
Yeah.
That's when he really belted it out on the harmonica. Not to be a fattest one way or the other.
See, you're talking about offending people. You just offended a ton of people.
I wish I could give a shit. I really do. But you know what? Like, SoundCloud, as long as I'm not ripping off any copyrights, I can put whatever I want on.
There you go.
It's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Wes and Mary, for joining me. It was a wonderful chat. I'm looking forward to all this stuff coming out.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
The future David Bowie.
Thank you for having us.
Show.
Yes.
My pleasure. Thank you. So what'd you guys think? I think it was a great conversation with Wes and Mary. You know, I've been meaning to ask Mary about the whole strange fruit situation for some time now, and it was great chatting with Wes about the Argus cider and some of the new stuff that they've got coming out. But, you know, together you feel like they've got a wonderful unified front, unified approach that they're going to take it all because they've got each other. And I don't, you know, maybe this is at the risk of sounding sappy and whatnot, but I'll tell you what, most of the people that I've chatted with here, having the love of somebody else, having that person to go home to, there's strength in that. That's something that you can't find in any other way. So I'm glad you joined me here today to check out this interview. Thanks again for tuning into Show to V. And no matter what, just keep dancing, please.